So how do you recognise gaslighting in a relationship? How do you deal with gaslighting in a relationship? How do you stop gaslighting and move on from emotional abuse? So watch my video and I'm going to help you recognise the signs that somebody may be gaslighting you. But stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you some helpful tips on what you can do. So I'm Sue Blackhurst and I bring the world of social psychology into everyday language. So if you love learning about yourself and the people around you, subscribe to my channel now so you don't miss each weekly instalment every Monday. Now, like many forms of emotional and physical abuse, to an outsider it might be difficult to understand why somebody would not leave such a toxic relationship. But gaslighters manipulate their victims in such a clever way that it's not actually seen as abuse, it's more of a way of life. But the reality is that most of us will have been either the gaslighter or been gaslit at some stage in our lives. Now, if you've been the gaslighter, the chances are that you weren't even aware of it. Because if you've ever been challenged about your behaviour and put on that "you must be crazy" facial expression, what you're actually doing is telling the other person that their perception of you or the situation is incorrect. Now, technically, that's gaslighting. However, it doesn't make you a gaslighter because the chances are these are isolated incidents and you've no intention of undermining the other person or making them doubt themselves. It's more a case of lack of self-awareness and difference of opinion. So if you're not the gaslighter, maybe you're the one that's been gaslit. So now it's really important that we learn to recognise the signs of what's happening to you so you can shut it down and minimise the psychological damage as quickly as possible. So let's take a look at some of the signs to help you recognise whether somebody's gaslighting you. Now, these do tend to be sort of thoughts and internal dialogue that people have. So if you think or say any of these things to yourself, do take note, but stay tuned to the end because I'll also be giving you a few helpful tips as to what you can possibly do. Am I too sensitive? Do you ask yourself if you're too sensitive too many times in a day? And do you feel like you're constantly overreacting and making something out of nothing? I'm confused. Do you ever feel confused about situations because you remember events differently to the person you're talking to? Now, you may even feel like you're losing it. I'm sorry. Are you always apologising for what you do and who you are? I'm so unhappy. Do you feel guilty for not feeling as happy as you should do when you have a home, a job and a lifestyle that others would be envious of? They're just having a bad day. Are you frequently making excuses for the gaslighter's behaviour? Or do you feel the need to support them even though you disliked what they said or did? Something just isn't right. Do you ever feel that something is wrong but you just don't know what it is and you can't quite explain why? Is your gut reaction telling you something that you are choosing to ignore? It's all my fault. Do you ever wonder or ask yourself if you're good enough to live up to the expectations and demands of others? Are you afraid of speaking up and expressing your emotions so you just stay silent instead? Now, if you're recognising those signs of gaslighting and you're saying yes to the majority of them, then maybe you could be a victim of gaslighting. So what can you do about it? Now, if something doesn't feel right about a relationship or a person, you have to trust your instinct. And the first thing to do is to identify who the person is that is making you question yourself. Now, if it's not your partner, it may be a boss, a colleague, a friend, or even a family member. Now, you need to pay attention to the signs of gaslighting. Look at all the behaviours and ask yourself if the person is doing that to you. So stop making excuses for them. Remind yourself that it's not normal behaviour and no, other people don't have the same treatment. So once you've recognised that there is a problem and things just aren't right, think of somebody you can confide in. But remember, the gaslighter will have done everything to isolate you and make you feel alone. So you may have lost contact with those closest to you. Don't be afraid of getting in touch because they'll only be too happy to hear your voice again. But you need to ask them if they think you have changed and tell them how you are being made to feel. But remember, ask them to be brutally honest. Write down your conversation in a journal so you can take an objective look at it and separate the difference between truth and distortion. If your recollection of events is being challenged, refer back to your notes because you may not win the argument, but at least you will know that you aren't mistaken. Decide whether it's worth continuing your friendship or relationship. Now, if this is a working relationship, you have to think about whether it's worth staying in your job or not. Because if you want to stay, you need to think about ways to minimise interaction with the gaslighter until you feel grounded and confident. Now, there are ways to decrease the influence that a gaslighter has on your life, but it all boils down to one thing, and that is creating distance. So the best option you have is to cut off all communication. Now, this goes from emails to social media to your mobile number and even mutual friends. You do not want to know what this other person is doing, and you do not want the other person to know anything about you and your new life. You have to make such a distance between you and them that you have completely cut them out of your life. But be prepared, because the gaslighter will do everything within their power to get you back. The gaslighter needs attention. Now, if they have moved on from you and they're not receiving attention from this new relationship, they will come back. So you must maintain this no contact, because they will promise you the earth and tell you how things have changed and it will all be different. But it won't be different. They won't change. And in fact, the likelihood is it will only get worse. But what if you can't cut them out of your life completely? What if the gaslighter is maybe a family member or somebody at work and you can't avoid them completely? Well, you have to be a little bit more strategic now, and in a way manipulative yourself, because you need to create as much distance and avoid contact with them wherever possible. So if it's a family member, turn down invites to events where you know they're going to be. If it's a work situation, make sure that you can avoid situations or places where they're going to be in the office or the work environment. And also, if you know they're going to be somewhere, make sure you have your close-knit friends with you or family members with you who will support you and never leave you alone with this other person. Remember that the gaslighter feeds off attention, and the more attention you give them, the more they will maintain this power over you. So if you want to get out of a gaslighting relationship, mindset plays a huge part in your success. Because what you need to do is change the way you think. It's change your perspective of the person and the situation. Because if you've been led to believe that you're a victim and you're a loser and you're always wrong, that same mind you can retrain to say, hey, I'm a winner and I'm good and I am right. And once you start to change your mindset, you're already making the first steps to beating the gaslighter at their own game. So once you've created this distance, don't let them see that they have an effect on you. No matter what you think and feel on the inside, what's really important is what they judge on the outside. So use your mind to tell the outside world that you are brave, you are strong and you are right. And no longer are you going to be a victim, you're a winner. Now, if the gaslighter sees this perception on the outside, they will see you as somebody that they have no power over and they can no longer manipulate. They will get bored and they will leave you alone. So I hope you found the video useful and interesting this week, and I just wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I have been asking where you're from around the world, and I do love the conversations we're having in the comments box. But I wanted to say hello to New Mexico, Amman, Lima, Peru, Texas, Malta, Ireland, Australia. Apparently there's nowhere in the world called Arkansas. I do apologise. Hello to Arkansas. If you have ideas for future videos, I've got next week's already planned, but if you do have some ideas or things you'd like me to cover, do pop it down in the comments box. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do that. I post a video every Monday, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.